young adults and learned a lot from them. One is still at home, another is in college, and another is working. What else can I say about we have lots of pets still from their days of being at home. Now I'm taking care of all the pets. they're all home. Right. And so I'm delighted to be here. I was last here at Betty's birthday, I think, 90th birthday.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful time. So delighted to be here. Can I pass the torch?
Pass the torch, yep.
Go ahead, Alyce.
Alyce, let's hear from you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Does one have to get up? No.
No. No. Thank you.
But you have to use the mic.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Alyce Baruch, Reiner, and my father, Kai Baruch, was best friends with Cassorla, and actually, like I can close my eyes and hear Uncle Louis calling my dad and him saying, "Hey, Ben, what's up? The gangsta?" And okay,
We moved to Long Island around the same time that you did, from Brooklyn, right?
That's
In 19...
Was it 5 years? We moved out here in 1952.
We moved out in 57.
50,
We spent 5 weekends every weekend of the year. 5 years bringing out watermelon and our box of cake and enjoying their hospitality.
to the country, which was East Meadow.
And for the younger generation, I think I'm squeaking for some reason. For the younger generation, what we did is every year we had an annual picnic at what is now Eisenhower Park, then called Salisbury. And every year we would get together, all the friends and family. Uncle Louis would usually be there first. When my father came, there was usually the first fight. Where we were going to sit. But we do have really fond memories of those days.
Camhi, where's the harness?
I now have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. 3 of my grandchildren are named after various members of my family. My granddaughter Allison is named after me and my grandmother. Our Jewish name is Al-Jofa. We had 3 Al-Jofas in our family.
And tell them about your recent discovery. Camhi. Al-Jofa was a Camhi.
And my grandmother was a Camhi before she was a Baruch.
So Meryl, you're related.
So there's a good chance we
another
are
cousin.
actually related. We always felt like we were related anyway. So this will
Was the Camhi spelled with a K or a C?
C. At any rate, my grandson Matthew is named after my uncle Morris, and my grandson Jordan is named after my uncle Jack. So we have a good representation. 3 out of the 6 comes from my side. I worked in the stock market for 35 plus years and recently retired. Actually, it's a year and a half, and I'm still going through my period of adjustment.
Yay.
I sold my house. I moved into a community that offers me a lot of activities, because when you retire, you get up in the morning and you say, so what am I going to do now? So it's been a good couple of years and a lot of changes. I think that's
beautifully done.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Ella. Santi Bella, why don't you tell us how the Sephards moved to Long Island, to Bellmore? That's a great story.
Tell us about your annual New Year's Eve parties.
Oh,
The name of our club, if you know Latino.
We can't hear
The
you.
name of our club, if you know Latino,
Is
pedals. We are the pedals. Now, I'm not gonna translate it for you.
it's like a burp.
If you're one of us, you'll know what it means. But to get had a cute way of, you don't know what pedal? I do. To be cute about it, we were PDQs. That means like little miniature of the pedals. So PDQ turned out to be PDQ, and we had sweaters that said PDQ.
Oh.
And if we ever made a donation, a charitable donation, we would sign ourselves as PDQs. And people that know us knew what that
About the
was.
costume.
And
Yeah, costumes.
what else happened?
Costume part.
Oh, every year we had a New Year's party in somebody else's house, and you had to have a costume. Well, we took these costumes very seriously, and I still have several of mine.
Oh.
Yes, and they're all on tape. Albert, Mom and Dad, we all took pictures of what we looked like in our costumes, and we got prizes. The children in the family voted for the best costumes. So
They were great. I remember one as a bearded lady. I don't know who that was.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Was that Teddy Cohn?
Oh, Teddy.
Somebody had a shade that you pulled down.
Oh yes, that was High Halio.
High Hallia. Somebody had a kilt. Was that also High Hallia?
Right.
And my father wore the hobo man. He had a kilt and a shade. Yeah.
And
it was-
Mom once dyed a mop, put a pink mop on her head.
Oh,
Now,
really?
She went as like a savage, covered her face in black face.
Oy.
Some strip of a long pole.
We'll strip that from the video.
Right?
I had- would you believe it? I didn't put those pictures on the internet. I wonder why.
Talking about the costumes
Yes.
reminds me about a weekend that was spent in the country, which I haven't thought about in 50 years, so I'm a little vague on this now. But,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to answer this question, because I'm not the oldest one of that generation.
That's what I love most about you.
What?
She's older than me.
I know that.
But there was a weekend in a country place, and there was a costume party. And
I think that was for the Cassorlas.
Grandpa,
Cassorlas.
the Cassorlas did that. He was dressed as a bride, right?
Really?
And someone, I don't remember who the groom was, but I seem to remember that Morris and Mary Camhi were also there.
Okay, now she said one of her children were named after her uncle Morris.
Morris, right.
We were very close to them.
Right.
That was
Yeah, but nobody else remembers where that was or.
I
I
remember
didn't know
a weekend along with that Isaac Barish, I remember was there, and the Cassorlas were there, so I know
were
that
very
they were
close to
there.
that family.
And it was at the Flagler, I think, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Probably right.
Costume party?
I was much younger than you. I chance here.
All right.
I think it was at the Flagler, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Meryl, why don't you say something a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Grab the press something.
It's on.
Meryl, Camhi, Annibale. My mother is Belle. My father, Jack Camhi, was Aunt Betty's brother. And I am married and have 2 grown daughters. They each have a son and a daughter themselves, so I have 4 grandchildren.
Here's one.
And my one daughter lives in East Meadow, very near Alyce. And my husband and I are both retired, and we're just enjoying life and seeing our family a lot. And thank you all for putting this together.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
It takes a lot of effort, and it doesn't happen until someone puts in the effort. So I'm happy to see all my relatives and relatives' relatives.
Beautiful. Thank you, Meryl.
Hola,
Hola,
I'm
Roberta.
Roberta Camhi Mohr. That's my mom. That's my sister. And my other sister Caryn
Is coming up the
Here
steps.
she is. Yay.
both my sons are here, except I don't see where they are right now, Jonathan and Brian.
There's Brian.
Unfortunately, my husband Charles couldn't make it, wasn't feeling well. I recently retired from teaching after many, many, many years. And I'm still working part-time and enjoying myself. I'm so happy to be in the same house with all my cousins. We don't get to see as often as we'd like to see. And my cousin's cousins, and we're all one big extended family. I'm
A
thrilled to be
beautiful
here.
thing.
I'm so glad that doing it, always doing it, Alan. Always having that family reunion.
Yay!
So, Marshall had this idea. Marshall gets a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
Whoa!
Was made. Yay, good idea. Great idea.
That's the kind of thing Grandpa Cassorla would do, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
I
would do.
take after Grandpa.
Next, Sylvia, did you go?
She's
Sylvia go?
still sent an email, but she can still talk. We want to hear from Sylvia.
Well, some things I didn't say in the email.
You want to see?
I did say in the email, as I remember, that we live in Hampton Bays, have been since 1985. I retired from NYU in 1996. And not.
What position did you have in mind? I know you were like very much on the top.
Provost,
like one,
right?
maybe just one below the highest or something like that?
Deputy Chancellor. Yes, Deputy Chancellor.
Deputy Chancellor.
This lady's a deputy chancellor at NYU. Don't let me
Yeah, he's so.
Holy cow.
Cousin Sylvia from what part of I should know you?
What?
The Cassorla family?
Yes, I am Lou, and my mother Molly was brother and sister.
This is Molly's daughter.
Oh, yes.
Molly and Jack's daughter. Do you remember Molly?
Yes.
Do you know that I didn't know that fact about my aunt until I was about 35 years old?
What did that
I didn't know that Aunt Molly and Uncle Louis were brother and
How
sister.
did that? Yeah. So you were 35 years old?
Did you know how different they were? Black and white.
There's a story about Avrahm Cassorla at your graduation said something. Somebody was complaining. Aren't you paying attention? At John F. Kennedy, he's speaking. Do you know the story?
No, I don't know.
I'll tell it. Maybe you can
need the
film.
microphone? Well,
You
let's
can-
finish. Wait.
All right, let's finish up what you're up to.
wanna hear
Now tell the story.
No, go ahead. Tell the story and then I'll
All right. So Avrahm Cassorla just pointed at me. Avrahm Cassorla, my grandfather, was at her graduation. So you were 21, right? And they were at Washington Square, and John F. Kennedy is saying, "Ask not what New York City can do for you. Ask what you can do." So Grandpa is off. He's buying an ice cream cone, and one of the cousins says, "Grandpa, why don't you listen? This is the President of the United States." He said, "He doesn't know me. I don't know him, but I
have to give
I don't know.
vision of that story.
Is that how you remember it, Sylvia?
No.
But
The
imagine
punchline.
saying it.
No, the punchline is right.
Yeah.
The punchline is right. I was graduating from University College in the Bronx, not at Washington Square.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. Thank God, no.
John Kennedy wasn't there.
So tired.
And at the end of it was me who said to my grandfather, at the end,
3 hours
I
of
saw
sleep last night.
he had left his seat, he was sitting under a tree. Why are you sitting under
He
the
doesn't
tree?
care, I
I
know
heard
he
you
doesn't
watching,
care.
why didn't you watch the graduation? He said, you couldn't see me and I couldn't see you, so what was I?
He's always
Well,
there.
that was the fine Sephardic tradition of embellishing and exaggerating, then, right?
Well, I think you can
Carol, what is that?
continue the story. Continuing on
So as I said in my email,
God bless you.
I do a fair amount of work with immigrants and immigrant advocacy. I spend a lot of my time with that. And I have his 2 sons, both of them are in California, and we have 2 grandchildren. One is just in Europe now, heading home to go to Stanford Law, and the girl has just graduated last year from college, and she's job hunting, and that's our story.
Yay, so yeah.
At a pizza place.
Robert does that too, right?
Does she know what she wants to do?
some cross between fashion and communications and social media.
Listen, it's more than I knew. I fell in.
Who would like this?
Karen, would you like to go next?
Let's be 2 minutes so I can have prosperity, what it's called?
Posterity.
I would like prosperity.
And prosperity.
Hi, I'm Caryn. Camhi.
A lovely Karen Camhi.
Stapler. I have one son, his name is Brett. But where's my cousin Marshall? I have the best memories growing up with my cousin Marshall because we used to get in so much trouble. And one day we were playing with the light switch in the middle bedroom in my house. And we just kept playing with the light switch. Nobody remembers this but us. Until smoke came out of the wall. And we had to call the fire department, and it was a whole big stir, and Marshall and I denied it. Totally. And it was just so
Very
great.
smart.
Do you remember? It might have been a holiday. Yes.
Holiday. I remember that when we
So,
just saw
I-
smoke coming out of the outlet. We didn't know that you did it.
Yes, we did it. And we're so lucky that we grew up with our cousins on the same block.
My dad's battery.
And we remember all that. So that's my
The truth comes out, huh?
story. The truth
You-
came out. The little quiet one you have to worry
Feel better
for.
now? You unburden yourself?
I am burdened with Ollie.
Hey, everything is fine there and good as new.
All right.
Yes, my mother's
Yay.
Solly, we love you.
Yes, I did. Who didn't go?
Yeah. Martha.
Ma.
Carolyn Albert.
Hello, I am
Albert.
Al's wife of 41 years.
Wait, you're not coming over the mic.
What do I? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Why don't you come over here?
So, I'm really happy to be here today. I know it's wonderful that the Cassorla brothers do this every once in a while and get all the cousins together. I'm still working hard, singing in a couple of choirs, and best of all, we're going to be grandparents in 4 months. That's awesome!
And Martha and I have been going together almost half a century now. Married or together.
Does it seem that way or it isn't fact?
No, 47 years we've been going together exclusively.
I want to tell a little
They
story
said
about
it would
Betty.
never last. huh?
Okay. Okay, and she gets the Tolerance Award. And here we're going to hear from Adele now. But
I want to just say a little.
why don't you stand up for your students, so you should have no problem standing up a little bit.
I want to say an appreciation for Aunt Betty, who would always, at every gathering we've had, or every picnic, she'd bring funny things to do. This is maybe what you were talking about.
But yes.
And she'd make
Yes.
up the
And make a big
strangest
effort.
game.
Big effort
She'd
to entertain and gather everybody together.
So I was telling a friend about one of her games at a Thanksgiving, I think. Maybe you remember it, and maybe it's similar to what you were talking about, where she brought bags of clothes for people to dress up and to dress each other up.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Oh, no, that's exactly what Albert does.
Oh, he does this?
Hold this.
Yes, he brings bags of clothes for people to dress up in.
You get paid for that.
And I was trying to describe why this was so funny and wonderful to a friend. Who, and I think you kind of have to be there to realize how great and how...
He did bring a couple of things. Albert brought a couple of
Have your
things.
props?
This is what I'm
people
talking
to
about.
dress up in. Then the second thing I want to say about, well, three things. The second thing I want to say about Aunt Betty is that she always
Hey, you
remembered...
saying we dress funny here? You saying that we dress like crazy people around here? Is that what you're saying?
I think that your mother taught you well.
She didn't give me a good dentist, though. That's my problem.
So the other thing I remember is that she would remember everybody's birthday. Just
Yes.
the people, that she would send cards to everybody, right? To everybody. And remember every year, every occasion. And then the third thing, and I think it's kind of related to the other two, is that, this may sound a little sad, but I find it very moving, is that at people's funerals, Aunt Betty would get up and she would say the most moving and heartfelt and warm and loving thing about whoever it was.
Right.
That was
But
very
you got very well on the paid tribute to a wonderful person.
And Albert also called Albatiku. Everyone was a Tiku and Iku, Marshaliku, Keniku,
My little
Albatiku. So we call each other Tik, Nik, and Nik. Tiku, whatever. So I grew up most in this house, and we have movies of Jaime and Edna, Alice's parents, scattering pennies on the foundation of this very place. They came in from Brooklyn, and it was a ceremony they did. And went to Columbia University, went to Harvard College, met my lovely wife there, an orientation group. She thought I was arrogant, and but somehow we got along.
And pushy.
And pushy. And then we lived in Manhattan, and she got her degree at NYU in music therapy. And I got my writing degree. I studied with Nadine Gordimer, who just passed
died
away.
this week.
Wonderful person. And all of her talent rubbed off on me. And then
modesty too.
we moved to Philadelphia and around the bicentennial, and we've been there since. So we bought a home, we had children, raised our beautiful twins, and I'm still teaching 9 years in the school system. Beginning maybe my last year, maybe 1 or 2 more, I'm not sure. I like to write plays and make movies, and enjoying life to the fullest. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you for having us.